Okay, it seems to be working. So, this is what we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at this V in threes. Spacing is the most important, and holding the right positions so that we are covering the most important ball and not caring about other things. So in short, I really care about this diamond. What I don't care about is the mid boost to the front post, the mid boost to the back post. So everything out here is not a priority. Everything inside is going to be a priority. Ideally, a setup would look like this. If we're on offense, we have one guy on the ball, second player playing the same side diamond, the right diamond, and the third playing the right V. So this is the V, this is the diamond. So it's 1, 2, 3. The only other option is going to be this, where you can have the first player on the ball. You could have the second player playing the second diamond, and the third player playing behind, so you have a triangle. Those are the two setups. What I'm going to be looking at is this spot in particular. Whenever the ball is on the left side or the right side, this is the most important gap to be filled whenever the ball is played. So the most important position to be in is whenever the ball gets played. So if your teammate's getting challenged, it's good to take a snapshot on where everyone is. Are we at the diamond? If we are we facing forward? Or are we doing something like this, or out here, or facing the wrong way? Being set up in a position is going to allow you to react much more efficiently and make the angle a lot easier. So let's take a look. Let me close this thing real quick. Alright. This is a big one. It's going to be recognizing time. So along with the V and the diamond, the three rules that we always want to think about and where every mistake can be led down to is being in the right position, waiting for the ball to come towards you, and then the third thing is making the easiest hit by recognizing how much time you have. So just by recognizing you have more time, this clear becomes a lot easier because you can actually realize that no one's on the ball. They have someone turned around, the guy's floating back, so you can let this ball bounce off the back wall, let it come down, and get a bounce hit, and just bang it anywhere on the back wall. My biggest priority in defense is just getting good hits downfield. Bounce hits are ideal. If you can't get a bounce hit, then lay it off for your teammate. If you can't do either of those things, then go for a 50-50 in the side. Because now we have three people that we just used, all three of us, to clear this one ball. Two right here, we're using boost, we're out of position, and another one. And it's just, all they end up doing is going back right to them. And now they're clearing it back in our half. And we could have only used one person with 10 boosts to get one bounce hit, and we could have got it into their half much more efficiently. But this is good, because look, when that ball's played, check it out. We have Ravella coming back, which is, hopefully when the ball's in our half, I would like the third man to always be behind the line so that we can always have someone going forward. But that's why Chivo does a good job of protecting the V. Notice how he's challenging it inside the V. Everything inside the V we want to protect, challenge early, get blocks, get 50-50s. We never want to let them have too much possession in there. If they have it along the sides or the corners, we can definitely let it go because everything on the outside has to come back to the V, which is why it's really important to challenge everything inside, and everything else is not necessary, but this is good. So let's see how we set up. So when that ball's played, we have the first player on the ball, the second player is playing the mid diamond, and the third player is all the way back rotating. Now, what I want to show you is this shot could be 10 times easier for you, Ravella. Whenever you set up in the middle, if you look at the trajectory of the ball, it has to do this, right, to get to you. So in order for you to succeed playing this position, I like to draw a triangle. You're basically saying it has to get to at least here before you can get an easy shot. Otherwise, you're having to do something like this to get the same shot. But what if you were already positioned at the diamond? Look how much better of an angle you have. So now this is where you can play it. You can play it as soon as it hits off the wall, and you can intercept it early and round out your approach so that you have a straight line between you, the ball, and the net, which is what you want to try and go for. So this exact same ball, instead of getting 50-50'd, check this out. If you're sitting right here, when that ball is played and you're coming from the outside, look, now you can jump at it and win it here and have a much easier angle to go for the ball because you're able to go straight towards the net and you can beat him clearly. So having this line is much easier to pick where you want to hit it, rather than waiting out here where you need to wait for it to come all the way across a certain wall before it gets to a good spot where you can go forward into it. Which is why you should always cheat up. When you're pathing up behind your teammate, you should always go behind your teammate in the same side. So if I was you, Ravella, I would be back here. I would slowly push up on the right side. I'm grabbing boost. He makes that hit, so now I'm here, and now I can jump at it. And look how much easier this angle becomes. I can drive it straight into the net. So that's why I think that's why it's so important to create a better angle for yourself. That way, you make it as easy as possible to succeed. Train, you're in a pretty good spot because you're right inside the V whenever this ball's hit. So right here, you're in a pretty good spot. However, you always want to judge the potential of the play. So right here is floating down. Orange has a very good chance to hit this really hard against the back wall. So by the time he hits it, notice how you're having to turn away. I would take a look at it like right as I see this, I would say, okay, I'm going to back up so that I'm either behind the line before he hits it, so that when he plays it, I can jump up at it, or I would like to stay on the ground. If you feel like that's too high and too fast, it's better off to stay on the ground and play this ball. So you have vision to be able to tell, like, okay, he hit it, but no one's going after it. So that means I have time to let it hit the wall, let it come down and get a bounce hit. And now we create instant pressure and we're able to clear it immediately instead of forcing an awkward thing that, like, you jumping here doesn't do anything because no one's pressuring it. So it's recognizing that time and space. So as much as you can, make it as simple as possible to get the clear. This is perfect. And the reason why is because this ball is going towards a wall. Right here, the OC has nothing. He has absolutely nothing. He can't get a shot. He can't get a good pass. It's going to be very easy for Chivo to clear this ball by just letting him hit it. And by you trying to pinch it, that would be the worst thing because then it has a possibility of going back to his teammate or something. So this is great to recognize when to not go for it, let them hit it for you, and now Chivo has a very easy hit. So notice how, again, this ball, even though it's inside the V, what you want to take a look at is where they're approaching it and what they're going to do with it. Because they're approaching it from a side angle, and they're not approaching it from an angle that's rounding out for a shot, you can afford to let them hit this ball, especially because you two are not going to, this ball is going backwards, he's the closest one to it, it's going to be almost impossible unless you depend on him to fuck up for you to get the ball. So what you should think about is not the initial hit. You should think about, okay, he's going to hit it into the wall, and this is where I want to play. So just by holding on to the V a little bit longer, we can do this. We can say, oh, now he hits that ball, now it's coming out, and now you can challenge it with him instead of letting him get that free touch. Nice cover. We have time here. I like Chivo coming back. I always want the third man to be behind the net. I always want, if the ball's on our half, I want one guy behind the line facing forward. I want one guy holding this side and trying to contain it inside this half. Not necessarily challenging this ball, but rather trying to get any ball that lands short. And I want the second guy to place this diamond. And how I want him to play it is either, one, if you think that your teammate's going to lose it out here and it's going to be popping out towards the front post, then I want you to be facing the front post. But if you think your teammate has a good clear and he's going to get it going out down the field, then I want you to be facing that way so that you can come react to it. But the most important thing is the third man, because look how, just by Chivo coming from the center, we're able to bang it forward, and now we're automatically on offense and being able to contain them, which is what we want to do. This is really good stuff from Chivo. What I would recommend is prioritizing the ground rather than the wall here, because yes, could he play it like that? Sure, but that's not a big deal. More than likely, he's either going to bang it off the sidewall, and we want to get ready here and put our brakes on over there, or he's going to try and control it and dribble it forward. the most dangerous lane that we can give him is the path that comes towards the diamond in the V. So instead of approaching it from out here, hold your space as you push up right here at the top of the diamond. So anything that he messes up on becomes a lot easier to challenge, and you can do this. And now you can force to play it to you, and you can make a really good 50-50. So for train, but when this ball is played, even though you're on the opposite side, it's where the ball is going to get played, I want you to not depend on somebody to mess up for you to succeed. So by you pre-jumping here, you're automatically assuming that this guy's not going to hit it, which is throwing away a large potential, because even if you let him hit it from holding your space out here, you can cover everything that he's going to do. If he bangs it up, you can cover that. If he bangs it to the side, you can cover that. If it lofts, you can cover that. And now he's outside the net, and now you have a free, he gave you the ball for free, and the net's going to be open. So instead of going for that, I would rather you hold this diamond so that when this ball gets played, you can be here, and now you can challenge it right here, which is what we want to be able to do. We want to contain them in our half as much as we can. Ravella does a good job of covering. But notice how we didn't need to do that at all, because Ravella right now is supposed to be the third man, so ideally how this would have played out is Train holds this spot, Ravella comes back and holds this, and then we have the second man rotating back to this spot, or you can rotate all the way back so that this one pushes up to 1, he pushes up to 2, and now we have 3. But instead, we have to depend on our third man, Ravella, to make a play that is meant for the second man. Good job coming back on a straight line, Train, and coming inside the V. That's really nice. I want you to think about this, Chivo. Yes, you hit it down the line, and you got another touch, but now it's a bad pass, and we get cleared. Why not, with this same ball, if you have this much time and space, always prioritize recognizing that and rounding out your approach and making any bounce hit along the back wall or the net itself. So as this comes down, take your time, approach the ball, round out your approach so that when you hit it off the ground, you're making a straight line between you, the ball, and the net, and that's going to automatically increase your accuracy, your power from this same hit. So instead of hitting it down the sideline, you could probably shoot it over him. Look where he's at. He's in front of you, he's facing the wrong way, and if you force that ball and you get a good hit, well, guess what? This guy's going to be forced to play it, so all you have to do is put on your brakes as soon as you land so that when this ball is flying and it's coming inside the net, this guy has to clear it. He hits it off the wall. Now you have a free ball and a free net, or he hits it directly to you, or hits off the wall, comes to you. But either way, we're containing them and we're playing them. So if we do this right, we can force them to hit it back to us consistently. This is what I call a red flag. This touch, if we think about the 3 things, position, waiting for the ball, and making the simplest decision, recognizing time, you're in the right position more or less. I would rather you be holding on the inside of the diamond like so, but this ball is not coming towards you. It's very short. They have a teammate there. You're the furthest one away from it, so all you're doing, Train, is wasting time and space. Instead, if you at least hold on to the center, now if he plays it to you, you can cover that, and if he doesn't, you're shorter, you're in a better spot to defend the net. And how about your teammate? Instead of this being so scary, Ravella, when this ball gets played, look where you are. If you're the third man and you find yourself having to turn around like this and go backwards inside your own V, you're misreading the play, and you should be giving way more space. Anything that's short and along the wall here, it's a high potential for them to get a pinch off the wall and hit it back to you guys on target. So if I was Ravella, as I'm pushing back, I want to be grabbing the lines all the way back here on boost pads. I want to have at least 30 boosts. I want to hold back here because there's a large potential and we don't have control. It's pretty clear. That way when this ball is cleared, I can jump up at it and challenge, or I'm at least in a better spot to play this next ball so that by the time that ball goes off the back wall, I can jump at it and try and make a block here, which is also viable. So whichever one is more comfortable, but long story short, you put yourself in a much better position just by facing forward when that ball is hit and looking ahead and saying, you know what, my team doesn't have it, they have a big clear, let me hold on to the net. This is a good clear. Let's see how we set up. So it's most likely going to get a big hit because they have all this time. They're letting it hit the ground. That means it's another red flag. We want to hold that space because now when they play that ball, I don't like this a lot. I would rather Ravella be holding the back all the way back here so that if he has enough boost, he can jump at it and intercept it out here. But if he doesn't feel comfortable with that, letting them play it, because right now it's going towards the wall. He's playing it off the wall. That means it's going to come back to the V very soon. So we just need to hold this position so that when the ball gets played, now look what we have. Now we can jump at it, go forward, and bang it down into the corner, possibly connect with his Chivo, or even put it on target, just by having someone hold on to the back and face forward when this ball is played. But instead we're making clears going across our own goal line and popping it up. This is another one. Someone's just got to call out how much time you have. Take your time. Let it hit the ground. Go for a bounce hit. That's much more powerful than just going for a short aerial and hitting it right back to them. So right here, I would want Chivo to pressure the ball, and I want Train to get back inside the net behind the line right here. So that when this ball is played, Train's not on the back wall, making a kind of a bad clear. Instead, he can recognize how much time and space he has. He can let it hit off the back wall, come out here, and we can make another bounce hit going forward. Because all we're doing is hitting it back to them, and we're still in defense. It's a pretty good challenge, and this is great. So look, the one time that when that ball is played, we have someone coming up the V and protecting it and getting a bounce hit, rounding out his approach. Now we have a much better chance on net, because all we have to do is adjust for this guy's hit. So I think Chivo's getting too close too soon. I think instead, this ball gets hit, slowly push up, give yourself space. If he gets a good hit, he's going to hit it right back to you. When he does this, recognize how much time you have, If he's going up for that wall, I wouldn't go for it. I would say, you know what, that wall's not coming towards me. Let me hold on to this hot spot real quick. So that when that ball's played, you can jump at it, and now you can protect the most important ball, which is the one right here. That comes inside the middle of the V with no one on it and no one in net. They score in an open net. This is the easiest way to win, is just to protect that ball and knowing which ball is important. This ball is obviously not going to be on target, but we know that they're going to be forced to play it, so we just need to react. This touch, he touched it well onto his side, but it's an area that we don't care about, so we still need to wait. This next ball, though, is the one that we really care about. We need to jump at it early and intercept it before they can get it from the easiest angle. If you do it well enough, you can score this just by holding a good position, making the angle as easy as possible for you to intercept this ball and avoiding this goal. So that's why the V in the diamond is super important. In short, if they are going towards a wall, if they have the ball on the wall, anything on the outside, it's not that important. It's going to come back to the V, so you just have to wait for the next ball. As long as we're holding on to the spots, it's going to come towards you no matter where it is. That's fine, we get 50. This should be a free ball. That's a good clear from Chivo, good cover. He has a big clear. Whenever there's rolling up the wall and he's able to do that, you know how easy it is to get a big hit. So we want to be facing forward at this point. I don't mind Ravella playing that off the wall. I prefer only the first player being the one. If he thinks he's going to go to the wall, then yes, I want him to play the wall. But the second and third player, I'd much prefer to play it on the ground, which is what we're doing, so this is good. We have pretty good spacing. But just recognize when this ball is rolling up the wall, they have a large potential to clear it, so just get ready for a big hit. But you guys are spaced out pretty well right now. This one, I think this could be a shot, first touch, if we space this appropriately. So if I was you, Train, as this ball is pushing up, I would say, you know what, it's not, it's coming towards them, they have a chance to shoot it, I'm going to hold space back here. And then when this ball gets hit, I'm going to round out my approach, let it come all the way out over here, so that when it bounces, I'm going to round out my approach and make a shot, first touch. Or if you're pushing a little bit closer like you were here, I still think you have time to do this. When the ball gets hit, round out your approach, round out a little bit more so that you can get a first touch shot on goal. Put pressure on them. Force OC to play this ball coming backwards. So now he hits it back here, and then we have the third man rotate back, and now we have a free shot. We can always manipulate the play just by putting shots on target and forcing them to play the ball towards our own half or the diamond. Chivo, you're coming up way too soon, and now this pass is basically impossible to get. Just by holding on to the hot spot right back here, now you have a much better chance of going for this ball early and getting a very easy goal. Just by holding on to those hot spots, it's, not because we can't tell what's going to happen. That's going to happen. All right, cool. I can jump at it and go for the hit. Or if you're big brain, then you can even say, you know what, that ball's not coming towards me. Maybe I don't have enough boost for it, but look what they're doing. They're forcing it to play against the wall, so I just need to wait for the next ball. So as soon as I hit that ball, it's still not towards me. I'm going to wait for it. Here it comes, 3, 2, 1, and now it's in the V. I can go out and push it out along the wall. I want you to realize how awkward of a shot he has here and how we don't need to be here trained. Instead, all we need to do is get behind the line and just basically make a bet that, well, there's two things going wrong here. The first one is Ravella forcing this 50-50. It's not necessary. It's going towards the wall. We have time to let it come to the wall a little bit more and then challenge it up back here. Chivo, don't force this touch. Notice that this guy is not coming towards the ball because he's just letting you hit it right to them. So instead, try and always get on the inside of the ball and just try and push it back to the outside. Make it as awkward as possible for them to get the ball. This other thing is train. If we hold on behind the line, now look at what we have. We can take our time and we can make a really good hit, a short little aerial right here, and just put it over this Umbreon guy. So the challenge could have been better. The clear off the wall should have been to the corner, and our third man should have been behind the line. Good, we have 2 people back. And this is the right challenge. We just need to approach it. I mean, you're in the right position at this point, but we shouldn't be in this situation at first because we should have fixed it on over here. But even in this situation, notice how Umbreon is following it, but he's not going to be able to get a second touch. So take your time, let it come off the wall, and just get an easy 50-50 so that we don't need to get it as early as you think. You have a little more time. As long as you're coming from the net, you're blocking a lot of angles, and it should be easier to get. So at this point, we had 2 better open opportunities to score the ball on an open net, and these 2 goals could have been easily avoided. It's fine. So let's take a look where he's going to hit it right. This is why if train, as this ball gets pushed out, if you were to hold on to the diamond, now look, if he goes to the wall, you don't care about it because it's not important. But this ball, now we can approach it and get a good hit off the sidewall, and now we can set up for a pass or just contain them in their half. We do not need to challenge this ball at all, Ravella, especially as a third man. You never want to challenge along your own wall. You don't care about it. So instead, you want to hold on back here, and you want to basically say, okay, I'm going to hold on to this spot. This is where I would be. And I would say, okay, I'm going to wait, and that's my ball I want, and I'm going to clear it out. So notice how much easier those clears get, but instead of making a hit like this, or this is actually pretty good clear. It's good cover from Chivo, whatever. But Ravella, this should be your job as a third man. Good spacing, good initial spacing on this right here. So I don't mind Chivo playing this, he's the first man, but Train is behind him and along the V. And when this ball is played, he's at the diamond, giving him a better angle to approach this ball going forward. But what he's not doing is letting the ball react. So if I was Train, I would say, you know what, that's a pretty hard ball. I'm just going to wait and see what happens because the defense he's backwards. He's going to be forced to play awkwardly, so I'm just going to play the diamond. So now I play the diamond, and I can say, oh, you know what, now I can challenge it and try and get this. And instead of, this is like the biggest bait of all. Whenever they have the ball floating back here inside their corner, you only want the second man to approach it. You never want your third man to go for this ball because it's just not worth it. So all we need to do is have the second man play the diamond right here and approach it going forward and try and get a 50-50. Meanwhile, the third man, Ravella, comes all the way back here and holds onto the V so that when this ball is played, you can come out here and get a good challenge right here and push it up the wall and buy your teammates time to get back. Really good recovery from Train to challenge along the front post. I like that a lot. Here comes another hit. This one's not important because notice the angle he's going to hit towards the wall, so it's going to come back towards the middle pretty soon. This one's not important either because no one's challenging it, so we can let it come off the wall if we really want to and then go for it. That's a good interruption. Just know that you can make an easier challenge. You don't need to go for that. Never dribble it out of your own half if you can hit it forward first. Dribbling should be a last-ditch effort. It should never be your first option. So if you have all this time and space train, as soon as the ball gets bounced on the ground, I want you to bang it. Everything is going to be a bounce clear. Get it out. Because when you dribble, you have a chance of doing this. And now they're going to, they have a chance to just easily counter you guys. When we could have already had the ball in their half. Minimize this, just making it chug. And look at this again. So the second time this whole game that we have the right spacing and we have Chivo going up the left side of the V, look where the opportunity he has. He has a chance to shoot it on net or get a pass. And it worked out. So the second time that we are coming up the V, we're spacing it appropriately, we're able to get a pass and a shot. And that's the power of this position. When you're doing it, you often find yourself succeeding in making easy plays. And then when you're not covering these spots and you're worrying about everything else, the sides and the corners, you start to get played and waste a lot of boost in position. Let's see, Chivo, what did that accomplish, right? You're the third man. Yes, it's getting played, but it's getting played into the area that we don't care about at all. All you need to do is hold on to this back, let this guy make a bad play. If you probably let him, he's probably going to clear it out for you. And if he doesn't, any angle off the corner is going to be free for you, and you're going to have an easy bounce hit. So all we did instead was waste our boost in position, and we gave him a bounce hit. And that led to a goal, because now Relic clears off the backboard. Here comes another follow-up, all because of that one challenge from the back, and we get scored on. But even from this point right here, I would rather Chivo let him hit it, but even from here, Ravella's in a good, he rotated back, that's nice, but I would hold on to this front post again. I would let this ball come, and then I'd be Ravella, and I'd be approaching it going forward, making this as easy as possible, instead of going outside, jumping off the wall, and clearing it into our own V. You could have done the same thing with all that boost, just by doing this, and doing this. So clearing it into our V is the #1 way to just give him a free pass. And the same thing here, Train, if I was you, this is yet another chance that we could have held on to the goal. And then we had this angle. And now we can say, oh, you know what? I'm going to jump at it at the crossbar and get a very easy clear out away from my goal. Nice. I like that a lot. And now we just need to, this is a big no-no. It looks like the right idea, but to me it's not worth it. Right here, we have time and space, and this ball looks okay to go for, but it ends up not, because it's so close. Anything inside the arc, unless these two players are non-existent, they're somewhere else, I'm going to never go for it, because all they're going to do is clear it back into the diamond where I want to be and have a free shot. Same thing about this corner. If we let them clear it from this corner, they have very limited options. We can, if Chiva goes for this, then I need Ravella to hold back and say, you know what, let him hit this. Now I want to push up, and now I want to punish this ball, and I want to play off the back wall for another pass. It's about containing them. It's about letting them play the ball, putting them in an awkward situation, which is what we did right here. So even if Chivo, if you let him clear it, then you can just hold him to the diamond, because anything from up top needs to come back to the diamond. But even if you go for it, Ravella can hold on to a better space, let him fuck up, and then attack this ball and get a bounce off the back wall for third man rotation. Same thing here, Chivo, we don't need to go for this ball. That's a good ball to go for instead, but again, we can hold on to the space a little bit longer so that when that ball is played, we can go forward to it and just try and get a shot. Just by holding on to the diamond, you're able to round out your approach and go forward, um, and open up those opportunities. But that's a good look from trying to pass it back. That's really smart. To me, those are the best passes to go for. If your teammate's up top with the ball or whatever, or anywhere out here, anything that's away from the arc that comes towards the diamond, whether it's off the back wall or directly back to the net, is a good pass to go for. Everything else is a bad pass. You just want to let them clear it back to you. Nice read by Ravella. Geometry. The right idea, but make it simple, right? So I like this idea of shadowing Ravella, but we could do this even more efficiently by knowing, hey, that's a pretty awkward ball to go for along the wall. I'm going to hold this space, let it hit off the back wall, and then I'm going to go jump forward at it and get a good hit. Make it much easier for myself to succeed. Good cover by Train. Good job pushing from the back. Good bounce hit. We had more time, but that's a good shot. Good, and look at that. So, a few things here. This is good spacing from Ravella. We can be even better by holding the net so that we can have even more control over this. We can pass it. We can make a very small pass on the ground to Chivo from the center, approaching it from the net. So we hit it. It rolls on the ground, and now Chivo has a free shot. But it's still pretty good that you're getting a bounce hit. Right here, recognizing that we have time and just calling it out, so Chivo can say, hey, you know what, I got the best hit. But take your time. Let it come down to the ground. Go for a bounce hit. You don't need to go for an aerial here. Make it even simpler. And Train, instead of pushing forward when the ball gets hit, you could be holding on to the diamond instead. And then Ravella, all he needs to do is hold on to the left V. So that if Train holds the diamond, now when this ball comes, look at what Train has. He has a free shot. Or hit off the backboard or whatever. Just by holding the diamond. And the game's over. So in short, what you should work on are these things. Setting up, calling out your position. So if you have the ball up here, I want the second man to call out, hey, I got diamond. I want the third man to say, okay, I got your back. So you have that set up. The only time you play the diamond instead of the right diamond is when it's completely obvious that the ball is going across the field somehow. Whether that be because your teammate is calling out, hey, I'm passing it across, like he's scooping up and under for it to pop out, or if the other team is clearing it across their own halfway line, then you should be set up. But I would say 90% of the time, you want to have this, and only the other 10% of the time, when it's completely obvious it's going to switch the sides, you want to be playing the second diamond. So then you have 1, 2, 3, and ideally, you would have 1 and 2 rotate back and forth, and the third man not involved in the play at all. Third man is only thinking about defense, and only thinking about the ball that gets past the first two players. So once the first two players simply cannot play it, that's when the third man plays it. So that we always have a ball going back into their half no matter what. So the rotation is either going to be 1 hits it off, and then he hits it to 2, and now 2 hits it, and 2 pushes up for 1. And 1 probably lands in the middle, grabs 1, 2, 3, 4, and now you're back in position, and now it's 1, 2 again. Same thing if the ball switches the field. Ideally, you would have 2 make this path that goes across the line and then challenges it from the diamond, and you would have 1 find boost pads all the way back behind the second diamond, and all 3 does is come to this spot with still having 100 boost. It's perfectly fine if this ball switches the field to have this rotation where 2 pushes up, 3 pushes up to 2, and 1 pushes all the way back to 3. But it could be even a little bit more efficient just by having 3 do this, and 1 and 2 do the heavy lifting of rotating across. That's for offense. For defense, if the ball's in your corner, you want to have 1 guy pushing the ball from one of these 3 spots, never from behind. always cutting the corner and grabbing these boost pads and then approaching it. That's what the first man is going to do. He's going to pressure the ball going forward from the front post. Third man is behind the line facing forward. And the last guy is playing this diamond. If he thinks he's going to get beat, he wants to be facing forward. If he knows that he has the first touch, then he wants to be facing forward. Third man, when the ball rotates across, doesn't move, just turns around. The second man can come across and push out, and this first man can come play this diamond. I want only the third man to get really good clears, so that when that ball comes across, I want him to realize, is there anyone following you up? If not, then, take your time. Get a free bounce hit and shoot it on target. So in short, call out your 1, 2, 3. Hold those positions. Put on your brakes. As long as you're facing forward when that ball is played, you're going to be in much better position than doing circles or something. We can talk more about this later, but and I can do some coaching sessions with you guys and play with you guys. But this is a strat that everyone does. You look at any RLCS, you look at any good player, any team that beats you, it's because they're playing the diamonds better than you, they're playing the V better than you. This is nothing special, it's just a pattern that I've recognized, that I've made it as simple as that. You don't care about anything out here, you don't prioritize it, but you do care about everything that comes towards the middle of the field. And that also goes to say, can we ever play the ball on the outside? Absolutely. If you're in a good position as a third man, and this ball, they clear it like this, and it hits down here. If it's low enough and no one's on it, and you're able to do this, and round out your approach, and get a hit right here, then absolutely do that. There's no harm in that. But if they have the ball, and they're dribbling it on the sidewall, I don't want you to jump at it as a third man and pitch along the sidewall. I want you to come back behind the line, let him come all the way here, and then challenge it with him, and get a good challenge. That thing about 50-50s, as long as you hold the inside of the ball, you will win a 50-50. No matter where they come at you from, you're going to buy your teammates time, waste their time, and win the 50-50. So it's a lot of things, but once this becomes muscle memory of setting up the 1, 2, 3, all you have to think about the whole game is getting into position efficiently on boost pads, waiting for the ball to come towards you, and recognizing time and making the simplest decision possible. So all those shots we took where no one's pressuring us, I want to shoot it on the ground. Let it hit the ground. You don't need to go for an aerial unless they're forcing you to do so. That's it for now.